Hi, Alissa.
Hey, Katie.
Welcome to episode number 311.
Woo!
I'm breaking up with you. Peacefully. I should have prepped it more. Hey, really want to let you down easy. This isn't working out.
What?
But I still want to be friends. Okay, all jokes aside, this episode is about
Peaceful partings.
peaceful partings.
We're just, in real estate, there's many times where people go their separate ways. Not just with our clients where a listing expires or you get fired or your buyer cheats on you with another agent.
So many ways to get your heart broken.
Or you're a broker and somebody leaves your office, or you're a team leader and you have team members coming in and out the door always.
Turn.
There's a lot of turnover. And I think it's very important to remember that real estate is a long game.
Yeah.
So many people in every aspect of real estate want everything to be so immediately solved, gratifying, and whether it's making money or maintaining relationships, there's no quick shortcut.
No.
It's all a very long game.
Yeah. And you never know how this is. There's no bridge that shall be burned.
I'll start with a quick story.
Please.
I remember when I was new, I was maybe like a year in, so I was starting to get some confidence.
Okay.
Okay, I'm actually pretty good at this. I've closed some sales, gotten some awards.
Look at me.
Look at me. Everyone should use me.
Obviously.
Okay, so then I was at a St. Patrick's Day party that I was invited to by a friend. And I show up and she's like, this will actually be the last St. Patrick's Day party at this house. And I'm like, why? And she said, because I bought a house a few streets over and, we just needed more room.
Let me get you a Kleenex.
And I was just really upset about it.
Why?
I just felt really blindsided
Yeah.
and hurt, but I'm also in her home now in
Currently.
a non-work setting, just a friend. And I don't know. I just was, looking back, I remember that feeling. And ultimately, I just decided I didn't ask any questions. I think if I would have been more prepared, I would have been like, oh, who did you use? Oh, they're a great agent. Just my thing is, I don't like the awkwardness. I want to just clear the air.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this was one of my first big rejections, and I didn't understand that talking about it might clear the air.
Right.
So I didn't do that. What I did do is I just held it all in.
Right.
And stewed on it for the next 5 years.
Oh my word.
Not the whole 5 years.
Did you just say, oh wow, that's great? What was your actual reaction?
I think I said something like, wow, what made you switch, buy a different house? And she was like, I just needed more room. I needed this. And I was like, okay.
Where's your bathroom? I need a tissue.
Yes. So for 5 years following that day,
yeah,
it just always kind of bothered me.
Yeah.
We were still friends on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I saw her pop up, even if it's no house related at all, a little pierce in my heart, a little twinge of she didn't use me and I'm not sure why.
Okay.
Then, thank God, 5 years later, she called me to sell her house.
And you had remained friends during the 5 years.
Cordial.
Okay.
But the house that she bought without me, she called me to sell it.
Okay.
And I was like,
Wow.
oh, 5 years of me thinking it's all about me.
Yeah.
Here.
Did we find out some details?
She just said that, when she did this the first go round, she wasn't super pleased with her agent.
Okay.
That helped her with the buying process. And that there were several things she wished she would have done differently during her due diligence period. And she said, I just went with whoever my family has always used.
I see.
Here's the thing. It had nothing to do with me.
Right.
Not a thing.
No.
I was so in my head busy taking it so personal.
Right.
And, sometimes that just comes with experience of learning how not to do. We can't sit here on the podcast and say, don't take it personal.
Right.
I told Katie this week, I had someone that I have worked with in the past pop up on Facebook saying that they have bought a new house and sold the one that I sold them.
Yeah, they didn't use you.
And they didn't use me. And
it hurts.
It hurt.
Yeah.
And I hadn't had that happen in a while.
Yeah.
And I think, too, maybe I'm a little rusty.
You're like, oh, no. With rejection.
You're
rusty with rejection.
Which is a good problem to have.
For sure.
But, the first few years, I was not rusty.
Yeah.
I was very used to it.
Yeah.
It still hurt, but it was happening,
less.
So it's going to happen. It's always going to hurt a little bit, but we have to learn to positive self-talk in these situations. Also, hold yourself accountable. Was there something I could have done differently? Is there I did lose this person. Is there a reason?
Right.
But not burning the bridge.
Yeah.
Being sure that you can maintain the relationship.
Right. And sometimes that means you have to be the bigger person.
Yeah.
Like maybe you feel like they did make the wrong choice.
Are you ready to create and grow a thriving database to support your business for years to come?
We're here to make that easy and effective for you with the Build Your Own Business 101 course.
Learn how to love your people with this proven step-by-step process that guarantees you'll stay top of mind with your database and be the place they go with repeat and referral business.
We will help you fill up your database using our Who Do You Know list and give you the tips and mindset shifts for reaching out without overthinking it.
And you'll get 21 of our favorite prospecting templates, giving you the exact words to say when you contact your people. Get it all at hustlehumblypodcast.com/BYOB. That's hustlehumblypodcast.com/BYOB.
We receive this message a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
One of our listeners recently sent us an email that her and her neighbor had become great friends.
Mm-hmm.
They both had kids the same age.
Mm-hmm.
They would open their garages and hang out in the driveway together while the kids played.
Mm-hmm.
And then what do you know? There's a sign in her yard.
I think in this particular case, they actually told the friend, we're going to sell our house. We're going to use our original agent.
That helped us buy this house.
And the friend was very hurt.
Very hurt.
We're besties now.
And honestly, that to me, especially having been through different levels of rejection, I've been rejected where I had to find out on my own.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I felt ambushed. But I actually appreciate more the heads up.
Yeah.
That is where it's most appreciative. That someone's come to you and say, hey,
right,
we are moving. The agent who helped us buy is going to be the one that we choose to sell it.
Yeah, I think there was some pushback and they were like, hey, can I at least present? Which they allowed this friend to do. And then they basically used her commission as leverage to get the old agent to change theirs, but still went with the old agent.
Yes.
And my response was just like, hey, look, you'd be lucky if every one of your clients in your career was that loyal, that just really wanted to use you. The end of the story got a little dicey, though, because they actually fired that agent after a couple of weeks and still didn't hire
the friend. They fired agent number one.
Yes, that I thought they were being so loyal to.
Yes, and then they hired a second agent. And I like how our listener said, I couldn't even be upset because I'm like, wow, I have been rejected twice.
Like, what did I do to deserve that?
And in that situation, like you said, sometimes people just don't want to work with a friend.
Yeah, look, y'all, people are sometimes hiding something. Maybe they don't want people to know their financial situation. Maybe they don't want them to have direct contact with their spouse. Who, like, there could be any number of reasons why someone is like, I don't want my friends up in this part of my business.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe that's really more of a compliment to your friendship than a diss on your business.
And that's a very good point, too, because are you placing your work over that friendship when it is a close friend?
Yeah.
I have one where it's a friend, and I felt like the whole time that it was listed, every time I saw them, it needed to be sort of like a business consultation.
Yeah.
Of like, well, no showings this weekend, but here we are trying to have a glass of wine at this restaurant together.
Yeah.
When we did finally close, I said, thank you so much. I'm glad we're just friends again.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to, it was hard for me.
Right.
Especially when the market is tough.
Mm-hmm.
During COVID, I helped so many friends and family.
No problem.
No problem. No negativity. We were sorting through multiple offers. But now, if things slow down, if it's a house, even in a good market, that's just a unique house, so it's sitting longer, your sellers are getting stressed. Every day they come home, they see your sign in the yard.
Right.
You're also their friend. They wonder, what is she doing? Does she work that hard?
Or even worse, if they're your friend, they know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I saw you were out of town again.
I know.
I know that you're going on the field trip with your kid. Like, that's tough to navigate.
It is very tough to navigate.
Okay, but what we want to talk about more is like the importance of a peaceful parting. And are all partings going to be peaceful? No.
Mm-mm.
But an attempt at making them peaceful for the most part is wise. Now, if this is between you and a client and they have been mean to you or it has been a very unpleasant experience and you need to stand up for yourself and that means that you can't have a very peaceful parting, fine. You don't want to work with them again anyway.
Right.
Like, if you were about to fire this client anyway and it's not working out, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
But if you just don't know why they're not using you or they opt after 3 months to go with a different agent because they think it's your fault their house didn't sell, but you know it's overpriced and it's not ready to show. Like, instead of being like all mad about it, just be like, I understand that you have to go a different direction. I'm here if you ever change your mind.
Yeah.
I'm here if you ever need me in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that there are no hard feelings. Whatever. I hope that you sell the house. When they sell the house, send a message and be like, hey, I saw it sold. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Those people will come back later. But if you're mad about it and they know and you're just like, ugh, and then you never contact them again, they're not going to reach out to you next time.
No.
They don't think you want to talk to them.
We had a really, really good friend that was moving to a nearby suburb of Baton Rouge, but it's farther than I normally go.
Okay.
And I didn't want to refer them out because of our relationship. Like I felt like they want me to help, you know? Well, it just got so hard because they were wanting to see one house at a time. Can we go see this one today? And I'm like, I live 40 minutes from here, which I need at least 2.5 hours to drive there, show you, drive back.
Yeah.
Like, it's a whole chunk of a day. And you know, then it got tricky because the husband was not being realistic with the price point, that the wife wanting a move-in ready house. And he's like, no, we can do sweat equity work. And it got so messy. And that was hard. That was harder than me and harder on me and made me lose more sleep at night than someone who left me.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I feel like they hate me.
Right. I'm not doing a good job.
I feel like I'm not doing a good job. And it bothered me so much that the next day I called the wife and I said, hey, I've been thinking, I think y'all really need someone in that area. I feel bad when I can't get there quick enough. There's so many houses coming on the market that the frequency is increasing. Would you be okay if I referred you? Sure, absolutely. And I think even she was like, yes, let's do that.
Yeah.
And it went really well. And but I also felt a little bit like, I hope that's okay. So then again, I'm in my head. Did I do a good job? Do they think less of me? Well, then when they were finally found a house and were under contract, he would still reach out to me and be like, hey, will you just review this before I sign it? And I thought that just made me feel good to know he is still valuing my opinion as a professional.
Okay.
He's not like, oh, she doesn't know what she's doing or she doesn't work that hard. Like, again, I was in my head feeling like I was taking it
bad.
I felt bad. I was taking it personal.
Yeah.
And like, I've been seeing those quotes more and more that's like, it's actually never about you.
It's right. It's not.
You think everybody's looking at you all the time. You think everybody's looking at your posts, at your everything. And like, no, everybody's very concerned about themselves. And they make decisions based on what they need.
Yeah, it's not about you. And maybe they forgot about you. Or maybe they're like, you look like you had a lot going on in your life. I'm trying to be nice. Oh, I had a past client who I've worked with many times, who I've known since I was very young, who I was working with again. And then it turned out there was like a lot going on. They were going to rent for a while, which they did. And they were in a year lease. And then like they would call and be like, we'd like to see this one house. I'm like, are you in that lease? Do you think can you break it? Do you actually? Oh, no, you're right. We probably won't. Well, I guess one day it was a Saturday and they didn't want to bother me, but they kind of wanted to see this house and they were still in the lease. But guess what? They hit the button on Zillow. They saw the house. They bought the house.
Wow.
And I was like, I just saw the moving post. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
I see that you're moving. I'm so glad you found a house.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? I'm sorry. We didn't want to bother you on the weekend because we weren't really serious and we were in that lease.
What do you do in that situation? I had something similar recently and I don't feel like I handled it the right way.
I don't know that there's a right way. I mean, I still felt really bad because we've worked together many times. And I was like, well, I understand. And I think, and this is what bothered me the most, I believe they thought they were just contacting the listing agent.
Mm-hmm.
And they were not.
Right.
And they were like, oh, it was just the listing agent. I'm like, actually, it wasn't.
But
that's okay. You know, like, I understand. Thank you for respecting my time. Like, whatever. I was just like, enjoy. Good luck. You know, I drive by there a lot. I'll wave. Like,
right. Yeah. And it's funny because in 10 years, they'll probably call you to move.
I mean, it could happen. I didn't say anything rude or ugly or my feelings were hurt, but I did need to get more information because I was like, what happened here?
Yeah.
Like, you have to kind of know.
Sure.
If you can. Or like if you go on a listing appointment that you think you're getting, you don't even know they're interviewing other agents and all of a sudden they listed with someone else. Yeah. I always reach out and I'm like, hey, I see you listed the house. I hope it's going well. Just looking for a little feedback. Can you let me know why you went with another agent? Is there something I can do differently next time?
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Yeah.
Do they respond? Not all the time.
Yeah, but it still opens the door for communication.
And it kind of puts the accountability back on you. Like, hey, did I do something wrong? And I'm always ending with, would be happy to work with you in the future. Like, I'm not going to.
Oh, I love that. Would be happy to work with you in the future. Enjoy your house.
Yeah.
Perfect.
The end.
I know. I think that's a good point to remember that sometimes it is our fault.
Yeah.
Sometimes it has nothing to do with us, and sometimes it was our fault. We dropped a ball. We didn't communicate correctly.
And sometimes people are bringing, in every case, people are bringing to your relationship their own issues. Mm-hmm. I have had on 2 instances, and I've been doing this 20 years, so over a long period of time. It's not something I'm doing. Once, way early on, when I was working with almost nothing but first-time buyers in very low price points, I had a buyer that it was like an internet lead or something. I didn't know her, it wasn't a referral, but we'd seen a few houses. And then she basically just emailed me one day and was like, I don't believe that you want to work with me, that you don't want to work with my price range. And so I've gone with another agent. And I was kind of like, this is so weird and out of left field. It wasn't like I didn't show her what she asked. And that hurt my feelings because I was like, well, all of my clients are this
personally
price.
Said that.
Right. I had it happen again, not that long ago, not a buyer, but a seller who said, well, I know this isn't the price range you normally work with, and I'm not a good enough seller for you. And I'm like, false. But also, that's your issue. That's not my issue. You think you're not good enough because your house is in a certain price. That's not me. Mm-hmm. I am happy to take the listing.
Yeah.
But people come to you with their own issues.
Yes.
So you still have to be nice.
And it goes to show they're trying to project it onto you, but it's about them.
You did this. I'm like, I know I did not.
No.
I'm certain. Yeah. This is a crazy, just no. Mm-hmm. Okay, so with buyers and sellers, I think it makes sense to be peaceful more often than not because you want to work with them in the future, potentially.
Or even referrals.
Yeah.
I had someone who did not use me, never used me. Like, we had not ever worked together. Okay. We were acquaintances. I had them in my database, so I knew them well enough to have an address on them. Sure. We were friends on social media. I would comment when I got to their name on the database spreadsheet to pop into their life.
Great.
Well, then I saw that they bought a house. And I was like, okay, well, I guess they had an agent. It's fine. Even though I was bummed.
Yeah.
Well, then a year later, see, that's what I love about time.
He heals all wounds.
Is that if you give it enough time, it all goes back around. Yeah. Unless you burn the bridge and then it can't. Mm-hmm. But I got a call like a year later from somebody I did not know. And they said, so-and-so gave me your number and said to call you. And I thought, that's interesting. In my head, I thought,
so-and-so didn't use me.
Yeah, he didn't use me, but he's referring me.
Great.
So I messaged him and was like, hey, I just wanted to say thank you so much for sending me Susie. I can't wait to meet her and help her. Thanks for the referral. He said, absolutely. I told her she had to use the best.
Were you still like scratching your head a little bit?
Yeah. So I guess what I'm thinking is maybe his experience wasn't the best.
Yeah.
So he's not referring his agent, but he doesn't have a need to move anytime
He's only been there a year.
He's all done. Like he's probably going to stay put. But now when he thinks of an agent, he thinks of me, even though he's never been a past client.
I love it.
It just goes around.
It totally goes around. I had a client, first-time buyer, referred to me from this family who had referred me. All of their family members, all their friends. I had probably one of my top referring families, little spheres. And she worked with them, and they were friends, and we're first-time buyers, so excited. A couple of them wouldn't even come on the showings. Great, so fun. We looked at like 3 or 4 houses, and it was like, oh, financial things. I'm going to wait and do this and that. It's just not a good time, whatever. And so I'm like, no problem. Let me know when it is, whatever. Here comes the post. We've bought this house. And I'm like, this is the cutest house I've ever seen.
Oh, no.
So I'm like, I'm already brokenhearted because I kept in touch with her. I would like talk to her on social media. I would be like, yay, things are whatever. Like, then she buys this precious house. And I'm like, 1, I am devastated because I did good at following up. I didn't ghost this person. I was a good, I kept the relationship going. And this house was really cute.
What happened?
I really wanted to. I'm like, I can't believe it. I'm so devastated.
Did you figure out what happened?
So I just reached out to her on her post. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you found something. Bummed that we didn't work together, but just whatever. Like, I love following along, whatever. She's like, I know, I'm sorry, but, I don't remember if she told me then or not. 3 or 4 years go by. Katie, will you sell our house for us? The cute house. And I'm like, the cute house? Yes, I want to sell the cute house. So I'm like, well, I look up her old agent and I ask her, I'm like, well, what? She's like, oh, our buyer's agent was terrible. And I actually think it was his listing. Oh. Like they just were like, there was a lot of competition for this cute house. And they just like were like,
went straight for it.
And he knew her now boyfriend, fiance. Like when I shopped with her, it was just the 2 of us.
Yeah.
Now she was in a relationship. He was connected to that person, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, and it was terrible. He was horrible. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, but I'm so excited that we're working together. And I just really felt like, you're right. It all comes back around because I could have been so hurt. I could have said nothing. It could have been awkward. Like she could have known I saw it, because we were always talking on social media. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to address it and be like, I'm happy for you. And then here we go. Years later. Will you sell the cute house for me?
Oh.
And I did.
I remember one that was such a good past client that I knew I needed to reach out. So I had sold their house. They bought a new house. I sold that house. They bought another house. And then they contacted me like 2 years later and said, we miss the old charm in an older home.
Okay.
This new construction neighborhood has just not been our vibe. Can you just tell us what we might need to do? So I went over, did a consultation. They're in the beginning stages of exploring. We went over numbers. Everything went good. And then like 3 weeks later, their house is on the market. And I was floored. And I saw the agent and I'm like, no way, something has happened.
Something has happened.
So then I didn't reach out right away because I was like, and it was for the same price that I had suggested. So I thought there was no disagreement on price there.
Mm-hmm.
But then she posted a few weeks after that a picture of her and her husband in front of a
new house,
a new old house.
You're like,
new to them. I'm like, okay, this is exactly the plan. And I just felt like in some situations they were just acquaintances, and I need to be like, hey, just wanted to congratulate you. Like, if I could have done anything differently.
Yeah, let me know.
But I did message her and said, hey, I saw you,
Like, what happened?
I did kind of just say, if I did anything that turned you off at the appointment. And she said her first response was, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you've messaged me. This has been on my heart so heavy.
Because she felt terrible.
She felt terrible. I'm like, well, first of all, don't feel terrible. You can always talk to me about anything.
Right.
I said, so what happened?
Tell me more.
She said, well, this house came on the market while we were prepping our house, doing the homework that you gave us. And we just clicked on the link.
Hit the button.
We thought we would just get some more information from the listing agent. Well, we didn't realize until the end of our showing that the agent that met us wasn't the listing agent at all. And we told him we had an agent, and he got a little bit aggressive and pushy with his stuff, and then said, well, if you use me to buy this one, I'll cut my commission this much for your house. And they were like, and then he told us, well, I showed it to you. This was before BBAs. This was like early last year. He was like, well, I showed it to you. So you have to use me now. That's just how it works. And she just said, I felt very pressured.
Such predatory behavior.
She said, I almost reached out to you so many times but I felt so trapped, and I just didn't know what to do or what to say. And I felt stupid, and I didn't want to hurt your feelings. But she was like, to be honest, the whole thing has just been such a disaster. And I thought, I just hate that. But I could have never reached out.
Yeah. You could have just been like, ugh.
And then she would have been like me during my 5-year grieving period of taking it.
She would never have called you back because she felt so bad about what she did the first time.
She's so sweet and so nice. She just needed someone to open the door and check on her.
Yep.
And then she was ready to and then I felt okay. And I said, well, look, just know I'm okay.
Right.
And, I would have loved to work with y'all, but it does happen sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know how many times I've sent this email. Don't worry. Maybe it's a buyer who's like, we just aren't going to buy. Or a seller who uses someone else. I'm like, don't worry. I'll still be here. If you ever want to work together in the future, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. So it's okay. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of the tips or ideas for a peaceful parting? Maybe it's not necessarily client related. Maybe you have to break up with your broker.
Yeah.
Or your team leader.
So many partings.
Or maybe you're a broker that's getting broken up with. Yeesh.
Yeah.
You still have to take that well. Because I've heard some horror stories.
When brokers when that split is not amicable, it blows my mind because I want to be like, y'all are in the same market.
You're going to run across each other.
You're going to cross paths again.
How many times do agents that left under a peaceful parting go back to their broker and like, I thought maybe it would be better, grass would be greener over here, but it wasn't, and I really loved it here, so I came back.
Yeah.
If you broke up in an ugly fashion, that's not ever going to happen.
Never.
And as a broker, I think you want as many good agents as you can get.
And every agent that leaves is going to a new office.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to share how their experience was
when they left.
Leaving. So if you want to guarantee you're never going to have anybody from that office come to your office.
Yeah.
Then you'll be ugly and word will spread.
We're all going to know.
We're all going to know what happened.
Or we'll all going to hear the whispers.
Yeah.
Well, I won't say what so-and-so did, but
they shut off my email immediately and deleted all my clients.
But it wasn't good. Right. Okay. So even if you're breaking up with, maybe you have to fire a seller. Maybe you have to fire a buyer. Maybe you have to refer them out. Okay. Number 1, evaluate and document the reason that you're leaving or breaking up.
I think it's very important that it says evaluate and document.
Yeah. That way you can confidently explain your decision. If you're going to your broker and you have no idea why you're leaving other than it looks fun at the other place, brokers are going to fight for you typically.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, are you sure? Well, we have this. What about do you know what's good? You better have some information.
Very specific reasons.
And it gives you clarity if emotions do get involved. If people start getting upset or making you feel bad, you're going to be like, oh, no, never mind. I'll just stay. Well, no, these are the reasons. They haven't changed just because you're upset.
Right.
Okay. And it allows you to self-reflect and avoid similar dynamics in the future.
Well, I was about to say, I think a lot of times people jump ship before even giving that broker a chance to remedy what the problem was.
Yes.
Like, hey, I just don't feel like I'm seen enough in the office or acknowledged enough. We had an agent that messaged us saying that she felt like her broker didn't praise her enough or say she's like, I'm a top producer in the office, and sometimes the broker just walks by and doesn't say hi. Just it was a personality thing, and it's like, Well, maybe if you would have had a conversation about it,
Be like, I need praise.
that one acknowledgement of conversation could have changed the whole dynamic, and now you don't even have to leave.
Right, because that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work to
whole episode on that.
leave.
Okay, communicate professionally and directly. Just, show respect, and it prevents rumors. I like that. We got to tell people what's going on.
Yeah.
This is what's happening. And protects your reputation. Okay, next, stay calm, factual, and kind in your message. Okay, that's pretty easy. I'm grateful for what I've learned here, but I realized I need to move in a direction that better aligns with my goals.
Oh.
It's a nice thing to say.
I actually had a closing this morning, and the agent on the other side used to be in my office. And when we were sitting at the closing table, she said, "How's Connie doing?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, she's doing so great. I was just at the office before I came here and got to talk to her for a minute." And she was like, "Yeah, I miss Connie so much. I miss the whole office. But, I'm in this season of life where I really needed this. And I just had to make that switch." And I felt like she was trying to explain. And I said, "Hey, I get it.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's okay. You do what you need to do." And she said, "I see myself back there one day."
Oh, that's cute.
And I was like, "Well, good.
Yeah.
Great. I care not what brokerage you're at."
No. Does not change my life at all.
It doesn't affect me. I'm not upset that you were with my company and now aren't.
Right.
It means nothing to me.
It's not us against them.
Yeah. But I just appreciated her candid conversation.
It's like, I miss it there.
Yeah.
I'll go back. I've had people say that to me from leaving the office and coming. I'll come back one day.
Yeah. I've seen it happen a few times. We have a big office.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of turnover.
Right.
But I have seen it before where people leave and come back. And, the thing is, this is for the brokers and the team leaders out there. Let's just talk to y'all for a minute directly. It's so important how you treat your exit interview.
Yeah.
How you do it. Are you giving them time to get what they need? Are you being a stickler on certain things? Hey there, are you looking for ways to save time and money in your business?
Email Templates 101 is the communication system you need to bring ease and efficiency to managing your transactions and clients.
Save time and avoid mistakes, all while providing a high level of service for your buyers and sellers.
In Email Templates 101, you'll get 13 downloadable buyer templates ready for your personal touches.
And 19 downloadable seller templates, plus 6 attachment checklists.
Head over to hustlehumblypodcast.com/courses to get yours today.
I understand that when sellers sign a listing agreement, it's with the broker. I understand that. But what do you think about, when you leave, you don't take your listings with you? Some of the brokers will.
I've heard that brokers are now doing that with buyers too.
Because of the buyer rep agreement.
Yeah, and I'm just like, this is bananas. Because although I understand the structure and the broker is ultimately who the agreement is signed between the buyer or the seller doesn't even know the broker.
Right.
They've never met that person. They've never talked to them. They don't want to be assigned to another agent.
My goal in real estate, and Connie sort of trained me on this, is that the agent and agent drama should never be a point of contention for the consumer.
Agree.
If you are having an issue with another agent mid-transaction, nothing is addressed until that deal closes.
Right. Unless my broker had given me that lead.
Yeah.
You do this from the money I spent to get this lead, then I could maybe see it staying. But anything that I was generating on my own, I think should go with you. I don't know any situation where I would think otherwise.
Yeah.
I just don't.
If you have to strong arm a seller or buyer and say, "I'm sorry, you signed with my company and not that agent," that consumer is going to tell their friends, "Hey, if you ever hire an agent, make sure they're not with this brokerage because they will hold you hostage."
I don't love it. And I also don't like when they do anything else that's like, "Well, fine, I'll let you take it, but you're going to have to give us a 25% referral fee."
Yeah.
Do you know what? Anything that's no. It doesn't make any sense to me. You don't need to take what I worked for just because. I just don't get it. I do not get it. I understand like the legal part of it, but I don't think it makes sense in a business ethical mind.
Yeah. I think it's just very important that you are kind and supportive, and it hurts. It hurts every time that, that something doesn't work out. It's hard not to take it personal, but making sure that you keep that door open so that they know they can come back.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
Some broker, like Connie even checks on the agents a month after they've left.
Yeah.
Just to say, I just wanted to check on you.
Okay?
I know you were so emotional last time I saw you. Are you okay? You're good? Everything? Are you settled?
That's so nice. Why wouldn't you go back to that?
Right.
If you didn't like where you ended up.
Yeah.
Or it stopped working for you in a couple of years.
Versus like an alternative broker who wants to make a passive aggressive post.
Yeah.
It's like, that's so unprofessional.
Super unprofessional.
Makes everybody feel icky, even the people not at the company.
Right.
That are like, you know?
What happened over there?
It's just, agent drama just doesn't need to be aired out. It just needs to be handled direct to the person.
Yeah.
And that's all that needs to be involved.
Yeah. I kind of wonder, do you feel like this business is people take it a little bit more personally because there is a larger number of, well, first of all, it's emotional because of your clients are emotional.
Yeah.
So like the emotions
people
are
emotional.
It's just an emotional business. But also the majority of agents being female, do you think that it's more like friendship politics?
Yeah, I think it definitely has that component
It's not like if you're in a commercial real estate office, regardless of your gender, it feels like this is business. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Business is business. But it feels like we become friends in the office and we, do all of these activities together. And then it's like you're breaking up with me. You don't want to be my friend anymore. Like, well, that's not really what's going on here.
Mm-mm.
But it feels like it's taken there a lot.
It is taken there more times than not.
I don't like that.
I met an agent who was actually a big reason I put this whole episode on the idea list. I had spoken at something and she came up to me after and was just like, I just don't know if I'm made for this. I'm doing everything right. I do all the things you talk about. I'm so involved in this organization. I'm there all the time. And I just get to hear all the time about people moving and not using me and this and that. And I mean, I almost wanted to grab her and shake her, but instead I didn't know her that well, so I couldn't do that. But my version of that was, maybe you're not made for this.
Yeah, right.
You should have seen the look on her face like, what? And I said, listen, she kept talking and talking.
You're like, a lot of this has happened to you.
Yeah, to you, right? And I
what's the common denominator?
Her face was just like, what? And I said, you have got to learn how to manage relationships, manage people, have open conversations, be a little emotionally tough. And, you said you've been doing this how long? Yeah, by now, you shouldn't be at this level of distress.
Right.
I don't want anybody to be at this level of distress.
Yeah.
And if that's what your job does to you, it should not be your job. If you are in an environment where your job makes you this way, this upset and self-deprecating all the time.
Terrible.
It's not the career for you. And I think it was almost like I think she was expecting me to be more like, wow, here's the solution. Let me tell you the solution.
You've had some really terrible people you've dealt with.
And I said, if you've listened to the podcast, it's all about mindset.
Yeah.
And your mindset is so broken right now. I just don't know if you can handle this business. I said, now look, we just met. But I heard a lot. And it just doesn't seem like this is a good fit for you unless you can find a way to cope. Mm-hmm. Find a way to change your mindset. Get around some people that can help you rally out of the negative self-talk into a place. I said, you're at a point in your career where you started real estate because you love people and now you hate people.
Yeah, that's no good.
You hate all people. You think everybody's against you. I said, you're never going to get business that way. Mm-mm. And I feel like so many of our listeners may need to hear that at a certain point, especially our newer agents, or sometimes you feel like you go a long time without getting rejected and then you get rejected 6 times in a month. And
feels like you'll never get out of that hole.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just need a good shaking of hey, But my point, my goal of telling her that was, yeah, it's something you need to think about. But also, I'm not going to sit here and encourage this thinking.
How did we end this? Was that a positive exchange?
That was really helpful.
Okay,
she was like, nobody's ever really. She was like, I mean, I think my husband has tried to reply in that way, and so
I don't want to hear it from you.
No, she doesn't want to hear it from her husband. Who does? You know. But hearing it from an outside person who has been in the industry, it's like at some point you have to just stop complaining about it and do what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like how I think I just lost someone.
Just now?
Like this week.
While we were recording.
This week. I wrote it down to remember to talk about it.
Oh, no.
And in a way, it very similar to your story that you shared about them not wanting to bother you on the weekend. Mm-hmm. So I got a random Facebook message from a lady who I sold her house like 4 years ago.
Okay.
They already had built a new house, so I didn't have to help them on the buy side.
Okay.
They built a new, smaller home that they were going to live. It was their retirement home. They were going to live in it forever.
Mm-hmm.
Forever, yes, air quotes. We know how that goes.
Yeah.
So I sold her house. Well, she's on like my database list, so periodically I check in, but I haven't really like spoken to her in forever. She DM'd me on Facebook and said, hey, if you know anybody that might be interested in looking at our house, let me know. This other house just came on the market, and I'm just sort of like tempted by it. And I thought, okay, and I will, this will just be like my podcast therapy, okay?
What did we do?
I pretty much just was super in the weeds, not only with work, but with kids. Uh-huh. I was coordinating this week of Haven's summer camp from 9 to 12 p.m., fitting all my workday into 3 hours this week, like just trying to figure out life. And she's like, and then she said, it's just hard. I'm not really sure what I actually want to do. You know, we have that 2.75% interest rate.
Ah, right. Okay.
And I went, yeah, it's very nice to have that interest rate. I said, do you think you would maybe want to talk to a lender before going to check it out? So that way you just know what you're looking at, because 7% is much different than 2.7%.
Yeah. Fair.
And she was like, that would probably be smart. And I was like, do you need a recommendation? And she was like, no. So 2 days later, I like checked in with her and said, hey, just wanted to see if you got to check out numbers. And she's like, I actually made an appointment and went and saw the house. And I'm like, I just thought to myself, you wanted me to be a Pop-Tart agent.
Yeah.
You wanted me to run and show you the house.
Right. But we didn't buy that.
I don't know.
She just said, thanks, no thanks, bye?
Kinda. Yeah. And I was like, I was sort of aggravated with myself, but also like, no, Alissa.
You would have made her do it either way.
Yeah. I mean, this is how I operate.
And you followed back up in 2 days.
And I just feel like
I don't think you did anything wrong.
She wanted me to be a Pop-Tart, and I lost her.
Just because she's a past client, it doesn't change that's not the way it works.
Right. So it's one of those things where I would have.
Did you ask her if she liked the house?
Well, that's probably what I could say next. She sort of left it open-ended. This was like last night.
Okay.
This is real time.
I love the real time.
This is real time, okay?
Okay.
So I was like, I'll see Katie tomorrow. I'll just ask her what I should say.
I would for sure be like, I'm so glad you got over there to see it. I know I would ask.
I know, but then I'm like, what's the point?
Because if she likes it, even if she buys it with the agent that showed it to her, don't you want to sell the house she has?
You're right. I need to. But then I'm like, see? It's like real life. Working through
because she hurt your feelings.
Well,
did she hurt your feelings?
No, my feelings weren't hurt. I just was like annoyed.
You're like, you're a bad client right now.
Yes.
I told you what to do and you didn't do it.
Yeah, that's kind of more where I'm at, which is also why I didn't rush to respond when she said she went and saw it, because I'm like, do I even want to?
I think the next one would be like, oh, okay, great. Did you like it? Do you think we
Me and you
need to list your house.
Me and you.
Do we need to list your house?
Right. That would be the next.
Yeah, because she'd be like, look, fine.
And then she's going to be like, no, the agent that showed it to us is going to help us buy it and list our house.
Whose mindset is in the gutter now?
I know.
She could just be like, oh, I didn't really like it. And just be like, hey, do you need me to put you on a search?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to keep looking?
Right.
I think you could just breeze past the fact that she didn't follow your instructions.
Right.
Find out if she liked the house, if you need to list her current house. And if she's like, no, it didn't work out. I don't want to give up my 2.7 for that house. Yeah. Just be like, do I need to set you on a search for?
Just in case.
Are you going to keep looking? I'm happy. Would love to work together again.
Yeah, I see. You're so good at that.
I mean, well, look, it doesn't hurt to try.
Yeah.
What's it going to hurt?
They don't respond. You weren't going to get the sale anyway.
Right. What's it going to hurt?
I can't say it's not because I didn't follow up.
She can't break up with you again. She already saw the house with someone else. Like, what's the worst that could happen? Stop bothering me?
Right. At which point I'm like, fine.
I'm just trying to help. All right, here's some other tips for peaceful partings. Follow up in writing. So our last one was stay calm and factual. And remember, we documented, but we want to follow up in writing. You need a paper trail, protects you from he said, she said. Close the loop respectfully. Just be like, following up. This is our departure date. Like, if we're breaking up for real.
So this is where I'm at. I'm at the loop-de-loop. Where
Right,
I need to be like, oh, how'd it go? Do we need to sell your house? Oh, you're going to use that agent for both? Gotcha. Okay, well, what did you say? Oh, don't worry. I'll still be here in 20 years. If you ever need anything.
If it doesn't work out, just know I'm always here for you.
It's fine.
This is what we chose for our career.
I know. If we don't laugh, we cry.
I mean, I can't help you with that. Okay, tie up loose ends. Okay, fine. Give the other party a smooth off-ramp. Like, if you are, let's say you have a listing and they're breaking up with you and they're either expired or they're withdrawing it early. Go get the sign in the lockbox. Don't make it like this weird thing. Yeah. Like, don't have another agent harassing you. Your box is still here.
Oh, that happens so often.
Yeah, just like go make it a smooth transition. Whether you're hurt or not, be like, yeah, I'm happy. I've had to do it. I'll be right over to get it. No problem.
And you bebop over there with a smile.
I mean, I might play some gangster rap on the way, but
I'll grab your sign.
They're not going to know. I'm going to be like,
hi, I'm here for my sign.
Or maybe I'll run really quick and do it as fast as I possibly can.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you right now.
Sure.
But I'm not going to be rude.
But if you see me on your Ring doorbell, I will be smiling.
Offer appreciation. Gratitude builds bridges.
Build bridges.
Gratitude builds bridges. Well, thank you so much for reaching out. I'm so glad you remembered that we worked together before. Glad that you found someone that showed you the house and you're happy. Gratitude builds bridges. You love gratitude.
I do.
Okay. You never know when your paths will cross again. And I like this. It reflects emotional maturity and grace.
I like that.
I love presenting myself with grace.
You're very graceful.
Thank you so much. Avoid trash talking. You cannot trash talk and be graceful. There is no way. Word travels fast in this industry. We've already talked about this. Come off as classy and trustworthy. Okay. Future clients and brokers want to work with someone who rises above drama. And finally, realign with your values and vision. Ensure your next relationship is more aligned. What have we learned? If you're not learning and if the same pattern keeps happening, you're the common denominator.
Yes.
Only you are the common denominator.
Something that you are doing is not working. Yeah. And we need to tweak our system, tweak our approach, tweak our mindset until it just clicks.
Yeah.
You'll know when it's working and it starts happening.
Yeah. It says leaving well is a skill. Leaving well is a skill. Can you leave well?
That's really good.
That's a skill. So I think being thoughtful when we make decisions, especially in business, even if your feelings were hurt, is really important. Like, take a step back. Maybe you don't make a decision right now. Like, maybe you don't respond to her DM right now.
Yeah, I was not in a place to respond last night.
So now we'll think it through and send something more thoughtful.
Yes.
And classy.
Yes.
And filled with gratitude.
Yes. That's great.
Couldn't hurt.
Couldn't hurt
What's it going to hurt?
Yeah. We'll
and you'll feel better. I don't understand how people sleep at night that are always mad at someone, that are always in the drama.
I will tell you that the people that rant The agents that rant, it shows in their face.
Right?
Physically.
Yeah, you look so unhappy.
So tired, so unhappy. Just like, can you drink a liter of water and take a nap? Maybe that's what you need.
Maybe smile at someone.
Yeah.
Maybe have a little gratitude.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else on your peaceful partings?
What would you do? You know, we had that one listener that wrote in and she was so upset because she'd been working with these clients and she was like, they truly are great clients.
Okay.
I have educated them, coached them, consulted them. They usually take my advice.
Okay.
Like everything was great. But we were in a multiple offer situation.
Okay.
And we lost. And they felt like I was the reason that we lost. You know, it's that awkward situation in multiple offers where we can't tell our clients what to offer. At that point, it's what is the house worth to you? Only you can make that decision. But they fired her and said, you know, we're just really disappointed that we didn't get that house and we want to go in another direction. Like, what about situations like that?
Look, I have definitely had situations where clients broke up with me and they just needed someone to blame for a situation that I knew in my heart was not my fault.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not my fault that your house isn't selling. It's not my fault that you lost to multiple offers. I know that I did the best I could with what you told me was your bottom line, right?
Sure.
So I think you just have to let them, just have to let them go.
Yeah. I mean, the second I get an inkling that someone does not want to work with me, the last thing I want to do is force a relationship.
Way. That's going to be miserable.
Right.
And especially it's a little harder now for buyers, so you have to cancel.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I would be like, I understand that, you know, you feel like you need someone to blame. I don't know if I would say it that way.
Yeah.
I understand.
Right.
That you want to try something different. I do want to reiterate that I feel like I did my best and I presented the offer that you were comfortable with to the best of my ability.
Mm-hmm.
And the offer and I would find out what they chose. And I'm like, the offer they chose was X more than yours.
Mm-hmm.
That has nothing to do with my services as an agent.
Sure.
I mean, you have to stand up for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But also, again, I'm not going to force anyone to work with me.
And you can stand up for yourself in a kind way.
Yeah.
We were together when we got her message. And we did tell her, you know, call the listing agent, get some ammunition for yourself and say, hey, my clients are so disappointed. Is there anything you can tell me? Please tell me it was a cash offer. Please tell me.
Something.
So, you know, and she said the agent actually gave her good information that she could then call her client and say, I understand, you know, I did confirm that the offer that we lost to did not need any closing costs, gave a quicker close date, was paying cash, whatever it is. It's like, that is why we lost.
Right.
But I also understand you'd like to go our separate ways. And you just have to find a way to be at peace with that and live on the hope that you will see it come back around.
Yeah. I think it's okay to also say, I still want to work together if you do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not hurt by...
Good. You have so many good one-liners today.
Thank you. I'm just like a walking chat GPT.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I understand, because also sometimes people say things in the heat of the moment that I feel like they would feel like they couldn't take back. Like if I as a buyer was like, listen, I got to get a new agent. You didn't get this done. And then I was like, oh, maybe that really wasn't the case, but now I've said it, so I kind of have to stick to it. I'd be like, hey, you haven't hurt my feelings. I understand that you're frustrated with how the market is working. Mm-hmm. This is what happened with that offer. I'm happy to keep moving forward together.
Yeah.
If you want.
I still want to work together if you do.
I still want to work togetger if you do. You could even say that to your lady.
Yeah.
I still want to work together if you do.
Maybe we'll incorporate that in the message.
Let's see how it goes. We're going to do some real world applications and see.
Should I go get my phone? Should we message her now?
We're definitely going to message her now.
We can read it to the listeners.
We're going to see what she says.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. That's all I have on peaceful partings.
I think it was just good discussion.
I think
a
it's
good reminder in a tricky market.
It's always important to remember it's not about you.
Yeah, nobody cares about you as much as you think they do.
Look, the ultimate message here, nobody cares about you.
Nobody cares about you.
Only
bye.
No. That's it. So just deal with it.
Right.
I think no one, like I always am you get more flies with honey. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that's bad that's going to come of you being kind.
Yeah.
and gracious and graceful and classy.
Nothing good.
Tell me something bad.
Yeah.
What bad is going to happen here?
She was so classy.
Her PR parting was so peaceful. I thought, what is wrong with her?
Don't call her if you want someone to be nice to you.
Right. What are people going to say, truly?
You can't dog that.
No.
It just is what it
She
is.
was so, they'll just be like, oh, we fired our agent, but she was so nice.
Now I feel bad about it.
Yes, that should be your goal. If someone's going to break up with you, make them regret it.
Yeah.
Be like, gosh, she was really nice.
That
Our new
is
agent is never that nice. Remember you said you always want them to say their second agent wasn't as good as you?
Yes.
Say, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always say that's my goal as a listing agent is not to sell the house always. I mean, obviously the end goal would be a sale, but the goal is to do so good and do the best that I can that if it doesn't sell and they hire someone else, they're always comparing people to me.
Yeah.
Like, well, Alissa was better.
She did do a better job.
Yeah.
Do you want to do our toast today?
Yes, I'll read our toast from Alabama.
I know you like to know where they're from.
Okay, so this toast, did I not put who it's from?
Oh my God. Do you want to read the toast and then I'll tell you who it's from?
Yes.
Okay, well, read us the toast and then we'll tell you. It'll be a backwards toast, but it'll be fine.
My mentor and friend, Leighton Harbuck in Birmingham, Alabama.
Stop. This is from Alexis Jones.
Alexis Jones is toasting her friend and mentor, Leighton Harbuck in Birmingham, Alabama. Leighton is hitting 100 million in total sales volume.
Wow.
And she is an avid Hustle Humbly listener. She's the one who got me hooked.
I love it.
She has poured time and energy all day, every day into helping me get my business off the ground, and I could not be more grateful for her. She is one of the best agents I know. She truly cares, and she loves her clients with everything in her, and she always goes above and beyond for them. She is the best, and I love her so much. That is so sweet.
That's
a good one. That's a good one for this episode.
Perfect for this episode. Cheers to Leighton and thank you to Alexis. And y'all get out there and just be so kind.
Be kind.
Just
be nice.
kind.
Bye, guys. Wait, before you go, if you enjoyed this episode and if we brought you value, take a minute to rate the show, leave a review, or drop a comment.
We are giving away our best stuff for free. Find it at hustlehumblypodcast.com/freebies.
We'd also love to see you in Hustle Humbly community. Join us there at hustlehumblypodcast.com/membership.
We love chatting with you in our DMs. Find us on social media at Hustle Humbly Podcast and say hello.
If you have an episode topic or someone you'd like to toast on the show, please email us at team@hustlehumblypodcast.com.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hustle Humbly Podcast. See you next week.